I told my family that I lost my high-paying job and that I needed to move in with them because I couldn't pay my rent. I hoped to reveal their true feelings about me, and their response was clear. They said they didn't need me if I wasn't bringing money. My name is Michelle, and by most standards, I'm considered successful. At 26, I work as an investment manager at one of the city's top firms. I rent a decent apartment and have a good job with enough savings to buy my own place soon. No loans or mortgages, just as I like it. Everything was going according to plan until a phone call from Aunt Sarah changed everything. "Michelle, honey, are you coming for Thanksgiving this year?" Her warm voice made me smile. Aunt Sarah had always been more of a mother to me than my real mother. I eagerly replied, not wanting to miss out on her famous apple pie. However, I was unprepared for who else would be present at the gathering. To provide some context, I haven't talked to my parents or older sister, Jessica, in 8 years. That separation began after I graduated high school. I had just received my acceptance letter to college for a partial scholarship in investment management, which I rushed home to share. I expected pride, but instead my dreams were crushed. "We can't fund your college, Michelle," my mother said without looking up from her magazine. "Your sister is getting married soon, and we need all our savings for her wedding. But what about Grandma's money? She left it specifically for my education." I was taken aback, my voice was shaky. "Things change, honey. Jessica's wedding is more important right now. You'll figure it out." That triggered years of pent-up feelings, leading to an explosive argument. I packed my bags that night and went to Aunt Sarah, who took me in without hesitation. She had saved money for her own son's education, who died a few years earlier, and offered it to me with the condition that I repay her once I graduated and found a job. The college years were challenging. I worked part-time while keeping my grades up, but I managed to graduate, landing a job at a prestigious firm. 2 years later, I paid Aunt Sarah back. Life seemed great. I had independence and a thriving career while carefully avoiding any contact with my family until that Thanksgiving invitation. When I walked into Aunt Sarah's house that Thanksgiving, I nearly dropped the pumpkin pie I was carrying. My family was there, my parents, Jessica, and her 2 young kids, sitting in the living room as if they belonged. "Michelle." Aunt Sarah rushed to help, looking apologetic. I had no idea they would be here. My heart raced. I needed some air, so I stepped outside. "Michelle, can we talk?" My mom's voice came from behind me, causing me to stiffen. After 8 years of silence, now she wanted to talk? "It's a lot to take in," I said. "We were wrong. Your father and I have felt guilty about what we did. We want to make things right," she pleaded. "Then why didn't you reach out?" My tone was sharper than intended. "Because we were ashamed," she admitted tearfully. Hearing her vulnerability made me hesitate. "I need time to think," I finally said. The rest of the evening felt surreal. I sat quietly, pushing food around my plate while they mingled with other relatives, occasionally glancing guiltily my way. The following weeks were filled with turmoil as I replayed that conversation in my mind. One evening, staring at my phone, I found my mom's number still saved. I don't know why I hadn't deleted it. Finally, I breathed deeply and called her. "Hi, Mom," I stammered, my voice breaking. "I've been thinking about Thanksgiving. I'd like to try starting over." A week later, I found myself outside my childhood home with thoughtful gifts, nothing extravagant. I rang the doorbell, greeted with surprise. As we caught up over dinner, I learned that Jessica's marriage had fallen apart, my mom had health issues, and Dad had a lower-paying job since their company downsized. "How about you, Michelle?" Jessica asked carefully. "How's work?" "Good." I met Morton and Associates, a large investment firm downtown. Dinner passed with careful conversations and an underlying tension. Soon, Jessica started visiting me during lunch breaks, and those long-missed conversations flowed. As Christmas approached, I felt joy toward family gatherings. One evening, I impulsively offered to plan a trip to the ocean for the kids, which turned out to be magical. However, one evening after dinner, my parents approached me nervously about plumbing repairs in the house and asked for help. I gave them a check, relieved to see their gratitude. Over time, as requests grew more frequent, I didn't mind helping with small things. Then, during a Sunday dinner, my mom announced she lost her job at the library. My heart sank, and before I could stop myself, I offered to help with $1,500 a month. The relief on their faces was striking, but it was also alarming. Months went by, an hour. Family dynamic grew closer. I traveled with Jessica when work took me away, and everything felt normal, perhaps too normal. Then came the unexpected call from my landlord. "Michelle, I need to talk about the apartment. My grandson will be moving in soon." After that, I committed to finding a new place, sparked by optimism rather than fear. I viewed numerous apartments and was particularly excited about a corner unit close to work. That's when Aunt Sarah called me one day, her voice tense. She had overheard my parents talking about me and expressed concern over how my family was discussing me, mocking my financial support behind my back. Feeling betrayed, I turned my plan into action. 2 days later, I stood outside my parents' house with 2 packed suitcases, rehearsed for the confrontation that awaited me. I lost my job. I was hoping to stay here for a few months. The silence was short-lived, transforming into anger as they questioned my inability to support them anymore. They displayed contempt, revealing their true colors. They didn't want me, just my money. Without saying a word, I turned and wheeled my suitcases down the driveway, their voices echoing behind me. 20 minutes later, Aunt Sarah welcomed me back into her arms. Feeling a surge of strength, I opened my banking app and canceled the monthly transfers to my parents. I also canceled Jessica's European trip, reclaiming my independence. Aunt Sarah helped me move into my own apartment. I posted a celebratory photo on social media, revealing my new life milestone. When my mom called, demanding to know about the apartment, I calmly let her know I had been testing their affections. Their panic and anger confirmed what I suspected all along. I blocked their numbers and social media, finally relieved of the burden of a toxic relationship. That weekend, Aunt Sarah joined me for dinner in my new home. I realized that sometimes the family you choose is far more valuable than the one you're born into. Life had led me to beautiful beginnings through the hardest lessons.